Nothing, no, nothing.
Usually when a team, changes their drop and encroaches on you at the last second, when you're not expecting it, you default to just grouping up. But Influence Rage made that call, made that adjustment, and luckily for them, they won that 2v2. It could have gone either way at that small little compound. I think it really came down to who picked up the guns.
Just able to get a little bit ahead on that drop, but either way, that's good news for Influence Rage. They did take a little bit of damage for it, and now they're moving out of boot camp to play a little bit closer to it. This quarry area now, a main focal point of this first circle. The west side, a lot of strong cover, a lot of solid positions here, and taking control of one of those could be really, really important. Rook currently the only team on that western side. Skayovsky is going to continue the dastardly deeds of Influence Rage for the lobby leaders BTR, who are not safe in their first place spot. The fact that Influence Rage will be able to pick up those points, they're going to get on that chase soon.
I didn't quite catch BTR's average points per game on Sandhawk, but maybe Sandhawk hasn't been, up to their performance standards, so they elected to do that little kind of change and drop. Certainly has not worked out, down to just Lepar. Great player, did absolutely amazing yesterday. This is going to be his toughest challenge yet as a solo on Sandhawk right now. He's in that quarry position. He spots a player. He's risky to even take shots, but beams that player off the motorcycle. Federal might even get thirsted here.
Swaps windows. I mean, he just wanted to confirm that flush and gets the point back. I mean, absolutely, just able to open up through the window. Really, really solid stuff to pull a player off the bike as well. And maybe looking for a little bit of healing. I didn't quite catch if he had the meds to get back up to full health, but the rest of Influence Rage, having lost a player on this position, that is really bad news for them, to be honest. You really want to have as many as live as possible, keep all of those angles out of that compound.
Also, Rook heard the shot, so if Influence Rage overstepped this, thinking, it'd be that 1v1, nope. Doesn't matter. Rook will actually find BTR. It would have gotten hairy potentially if Influence Rage pushed into BTR, and then Lepar being such a great player stalls out really long, and then Rook third parties both of them. But that won't be the case. But man, Lepar with an amazing shot. We didn't really catch the beginnings of it, but I know for sure the player on the motorcycle scouting that that compound was not going in a straight line. He was definitely zagging to the right or to the left, making those shots extremely hard to hit off the back of a motorcycle. So Lepar really outdid himself picking up that 1 point.
Sam 9 over towards that dock split on the south side. They're playing nice and chill. Back for Demuerte there as well. This is the site actually of Demuerte's 0 elimination chicken dinner back in the European Championship as well. They were able to heal out in cave on the low ground to actually put themselves in the running to get those qualification spots. So a really, really solid position for them. Good memories on that south coast for them. So SCM, better worry, better watch out. Although Kenny's already on the inside of that cave, so they can't take it freely just yet.
Chicken winner dinner. That is still crazy to me. But if there's a spot that could allow for that, it would be cave. It'd have to play out in the most perfect of ways. Maybe it might happen here, or to some degree at least get a cave ending. I know Hotjukes loves his cave endings. He always asks for it, never gets it. But this is a 7th circle. There is the potential for that. We just saw Brute Force on the northeast wrapping in right now. The central focal point of this map, not heavily populated just yet, because it is quite tough to make it all the way down south. And with the first circle shift to the east, to the north, that could change a lot.
Corker looking for control over the top of the cave hill. On that south side, you see Influence Rage up to the compound, just drawn a little bit short of Rook right now. The north edge of Quarry also occupied. Stage 2 just about to reveal itself. And we're going to go to Quarry again. So those compounds that Rook currently have a lot of control over, very valuable. And the major Pride 2-2 split has paid off quite nicely as well. They are going to regroup. You can see them going very, very quickly up into their forward position. So getting those edge of Quarry compounds on the menu for a lot of teams, certainly on the mind as well. Weibo making that northern rotation past Paradise now.
Major Pride in a lovely position right there. Not only is it center zone, it's on a hilltop that allows them visions to the north, to the south, basically 360 all around. And there's pathings that they could take wherever the circle shifts, so they set themselves up in a great position. Brute Force on the northeast has met some opposition in the form of IHC. They have lost one player. Sam9, ooh, blown up vehicle. Not sure if there was a casualty there as the Muertes do have 4 up, but on the other side of the things, Queso catches one of the Vampire players off guard. It is quickly traded back here, though.
A little bit too far forwards there for Schweppes, unfortunately. Does get help immediately frustrated, trying to divert past the Vibes players who are on the other side of the river at the moment. Everyone trying to get across as Queso are eliminated. Vampire down to 3, losing one of their players, and Vibes playing as a 2 right now on a 2-2 split. Both relatively close to one another, within about 150 meters, and they have got vehicles, so they are very much within support distance. And the fact that they've been able to take down a player from Vampire really assuages that threat from the western side. The question is, how much further in can they go? They'll have to push in just a few moments.
Just crossing from the southwest to the east through that bridge, or there's 2 bridges, is so difficult. There's always teams right around the corners of those areas, and even if there isn't, the further you drive in, you're passing through high ground, right? There's the hilltop on the northern bridge just south of Pinon, and then there's that huge hilltop on top of Cave. So both bridge crossings are very dangerous, very hard to execute. We've seen this plenty of times before where teams do struggle quite a bit if they do have to make that rotation. It looks like Vampire still on the other side, just has crossed the bridge. They get that compound for themselves. They're still on the edge of the zone with many teams in front of them on the high grounds.
Playing between the 2 hilltops right now, have fully regrouped over Vibes on the west side. Disengaging there. Vampire moving a little bit further south to get across. They have now got that compound away. DRS behind them over in Camp Charlie, still yet to cross, so they'll have to get through the water there. Not an easy move to make with the number of teams on that southwest corner. Meanwhile, over on the northeast side, Brute Force and Weibo have been on these long rotations, waiting to get into the circle, jousting back and forth with one another, as Brute Force kind of taking the brunt of the punishment at the moment. Weibo having all 4 of their players alive, sure, a bit of damage tagged onto Gap, but we're still in stage 2. It's very healable out in the blue zone. Ado trying to crawl back in.
I'm not sure if Weibo Gaming rotated this way to target Brute Force or not, because Weibo is coming in from the northwest. They are purposely wrapping over to the east. This might be a pathing strategy for them, or break into this type of circle, and just so happens Brute Force is here. But Brute Force lost one to IHC. Potentially Weibo Gaming put the 2 and 2 together to know on the northeast side there's some fighting to be had, and they're picking up the scraps down to just the 1 player now. Weibo Gaming really getting these elim points. Blue zone is ticking just a little bit here. The last Brute Force player should go down very soon. He does catch a knock, though. Tries to go for that confirmation. Not in time. Weibo Gaming pick up 3 elim points. We'll get that revive. And a hard shift to the west. This might actually work out for Weibo, because now they can wrap and swing around again.
They still are in the blue zone, and looks like they've still got plenty of meds on board. So you're right, they do have a little bit more leg room to stretch out into. DRS, they're trying to play on that south side. They took the swim across the channel from Camp Charlie. Now they have this ridge line to start to move north on. You can see not too many teams in their way. SEM9 across the bay over towards the Cave Hill. They'll be worried about that position. They can start to encroach forwards. Demuerte moved into that position, disengaged from that Cave Hill, and now I feel like they're in one of the best spots. The difficulty they'll have, I think, is holding the teams from the north. The south hold a little bit easier.
Yeah, they're so center zone, though, I feel like, on a circle this small that even no matter where it shifts, one side will have a buffer zone for them. There's going to be multiple teams on that side having to push past each other into them. So they just have to worry about one team at most, no matter where the circle goes, in my opinion. We'll see how this plays out, though. IHC wrapping hard down on the southeast side. They will have to take that fight with SEM9, potentially. There is some compounds open right on the road side. Let's see if they can manage to find that info and scout it out.
IHC pulling up to Tam here. He's lying in wait with a DPS. these shacks are so dangerous. You know the players are going to be moving on in. He does shuffle a little bit. I wonder if they can hear that. Maybe divert away. Okay, some shots from across the way. A third party might have just saved Town, or maybe even saved IHC. I remember yesterday we were talking a lot about how IHC were just losing a lot of players off the rip fairly consistently. So today they want to try and keep as many alive as possible, as is generally the goal for a lot of teams, but maybe a little bit more important for this roster.
Yeah, it looks like they're not even considering the open compounds just right on the road, but who would? Those compounds are usually taken in a zone like this, so they're just trying to wrap around and fight their way in on the open ridgeline sides, looking towards Bino Storm here, just over the ridge top. And I think, yeah, they'll figure it out. No shots being fired from here. Well, second, they do call it out. They rotate in. Not going to be able to save all the vehicles. Readjusting one. They know how strong vehicles are, especially on the edge of zone. They're probably going to have to make another fast rotation. They make it in with a couple vehicles, all 4 alive. Most importantly, as we do head into the next shift, and Weibo Gaming did wrap around back to the northwest, and it's a hard northern shift.
I mean, this compound to the west of Quarry right now for Rook, this is a really, really good spot. Can they hold it out? Because they've got D+ and Weibo on the north, Influence Rage on that west. Demuerte are going to sail straight on in to a position on their south side. Major Pride going to have to figure out how to get through. It looks like they're actually going to go potentially over the middle of Quarry. I'm not entirely sure that that's... I mean, there isn't really a best choice here, but I think, okay, Naomi's just moving down to the other angles there, so they do have an off angle to cover the south side of Quarry.
Yeah, huge circle shift here. I think Major Pride recognizes with their elevation advantage, they're just looking to push all the teams away and then third party from distance before even trying to move more central. Because if you move more central, you give up that high ground, a full team's coming in right behind you. IHC goes up to the high ground onto Cave. We'll take that fight with DRS. Alex gets a quick one. DRS getting picked apart right now. IHC with only one player knocked. Rules on the low ground, catches one. It is a 2v2 situation here. No, 2v1. Alex, the last one up. Third party from distance, I think.
IHC looking to try and keep it together, but Alex goes down to a nade, and that's it for them. DRS look at the race on the top of the hill. In the meantime, Demuerte have taken some knocks across the way. I think that's coming from Rook over to the west side of Quarry, and they are going to look to get that res. It seems to be going quite well. Major Pride regrouped up to the position that Naomi moved to. In the meantime, over the east side of Quarry, and Bino Storm will take the shack just up the hill from them. So playing on the east side of Quarry, you're kind of locking yourself in to trying to play survival here. Crossing that Quarry, very, very difficult.
What's so special about this match in particular, though, for Sandhawk is that 3 to 4 players alive have vehicles. Of course, Vampire's not going to get too lucky, losing another player down to 2. But Bino Storm is a 4-man team with vehicles. I did catch Sim9 rotating in as a 4-man as well, I think, yeah, with vehicles. So that means on the next circle shift, we could see vehicles being utilized with a full 4-man force, which is something we don't see on Sandhawk too often. Vampire crashes in. Tony K, he's going to have to do a lot here. 2v3 situation, no openings just yet. Molly in hand. This is tough for Vampire.
Kayovski trying to hold the door frame, and Tony K has no chance against that. Kayovski able to put him down there, get the flush. Now it's just Newsy. They know he's buying the rock. He's got that DBS. He's taking shots from the third party, and he has to beat down. That's Weibo to seal the deal. Out on the western side. Rook still in that central position. Next shift goes back to Quarry. Rook in a commanding spot still.
Yeah, Rook definitely in a very favorable position. I don't think anybody's really going to contest them for this in this zone. Weibo Gaming's going to have to push in, but you have D+ on the north that's going to be looking at them. Also Influence Rage as they're running in. The Vibes team right on to the backside of Demuerte. That's going to be a huge fight right here. They get the opening. 3v2 situation. Demuerte, with only 2 up, goes for that quick revive. Vibes with 3. Time's ticking. They need to push down before the revive goes through.
Get that one back together. Try and keep everyone in the mix. Demuerte on 3 players alive, 3 players active here. Trying to fend off against the Vibe squad out the back who have managed to get up into the wall. It's a 3v3. Furia cooking the nade over towards East, who puts his nade back in the pocket. Just a solid time on the reposition there from East. to be able to get away from it. He's cooking another one. Apex trying to move, and that's a third party. It's Law from Influence Rage, who are moving in on this western side as well, trying to get ahead of this. And want to conclude it. Doorway sprayed down. East opening up the path for these nades, but no one's stepping out. No one's getting too big for their boots right now. These Influence Rage take shots from Rook, trying to move on in. Maybe they're not going to engage on this as a third party. Beano Storm trying to move past Major Pride. It's just not going to happen. Major Pride has fought on the eastern side. They're still in. Probably one of the better spots, but Duarte, they went down to a couple of nades from East, who was able to get 2 with 1. Goodness me, Furia holding the door frame, and he will go down as well. Really well handled by East.
Yeah, he single-handedly did that, and you can see how many times he baited out the first few nades. The game sense, the mechanics on that guy, no wonder he's always showing up for the Vibes team. That was beautifully played out from the side of Vibes. East leading the charge there, breaking in, and that was a tough way to break into that zone too. I'm surprised they managed to pull it off. Weibo Gaming now on the north side contesting with D+, a huge nade right there. Another opening, 3v4 situation. They bring it down to a 3v3, and look at the ground Weibo Gaming has made. So aggressive. Needs to be careful though on that ridgeline side as one player does get caught, another goes down. Weibo Gaming had a chance, but that chance is not going to be afforded to them. Sook last one up. Third party by another team. I do believe that was Rook, and Weibo Gaming are out in 7th with 5 elims.
Really unfortunate there, you're right. It looks like they had the commanding presence in the fight. Looked like they had the pace to overwhelm on that northern side, but it just didn't happen. Circle goes with Rook in mind yet again, and that northern edge, they can get the res, still playing on as 4. Major Pride going to have to get into the quarry now and try and force all the teams around the other side to fight off against one another. I think it is a battle for second place though at this stage. Rook looking to still hold it down.
Major Pride, I mean, we saw what they managed to do yesterday. They might be keeping that momentum going here. Major Pride with 4 up, second place on the leaderboards. They saw BTR went down very early. Might spur them into action to actually taking this game down themselves. D+ down to the solo.
They've gone for a 3. They've moved 3 players already across the north side of the quarry. Really, really fast. D+ were embroiled, and now D+ have gone down to 1. A couple of nades from Major Pride scored for that. The north side completely dominated still by Major Pride. Nomi can look to regroup through as well as vibes start to fall out in the open. 7-9, Rook, and Major Pride, the major factors in this circle.
East is still up for Vibes, though. It is a 1v4. I don't think he could pull off a miracle here. Yeah, he goes down. We are down to the last 4 teams, minus D+ on the north side. He is the 5th remaining team, but should go down quickly here. Yep. The last 4 teams, Sim9 going at it with DRS on that minimap on the southeast. It looks like DRS cut down to the last player. We're going to have a 3-way 4v4? It seems like it.
Major Pride have managed to move across the quarry. No mean feat. The teams on the north kind of took care of each other, and they leapt on that opportunity. A nice decisive move, which is what we always like to see from Major Pride. They've been doing it fairly consistently. 7-9 though, they've held the south edge of quarry, and Rook now kind of actually have their work cut out for them. They're right on the edge of this zone. It's likely to push out after that. I don't think anyone's going to go for a full breach. We'll see if people can hold them out.
Major Pride keeping that 3-1 split. Nomi, of course, the one being split off. That's the most difficult position to play, the lurker. You have to know when to time the crossings, know how long to sit, to provide that off-angle support.
Awesome!
And with Blue Zone closing in, Nomi will group up with the team a little bit more. Might be a knock in this zone, but that should be it. Yep, the knock does come out. Smokes are being laid down. Oh, that's more than just 1 knock. That's 2 knocks. Will Sim9 take this opening and pressure them in?
Towards Nomi as well. Look at that, down in the open. You can't get that back up for Major Pride unless he makes that long crawl up towards the ramp, gets back into the middle. But look at the forward position from Naomi. They're looking to try and control the center of this next stage so that they can hold the middle. The res came through, and Major Pride will play on as 3, but Rook will start to have sightlines now. 7-9 kind of making this really, really difficult here, and I think Nomi is just going to be a sacrifice at this stage. Nade in hand for Kenny. But R7-9 overcommitting to just get this one knock and stopping themselves from really getting around anything else.
Kenny could just really save those nades, unless they think there might be someone there getting a revive. Sem9 focusing on 2 teams right now. I like the patience out of Sem9. You know, if they overcommitted on that double knock, that's Rue coming in with third party and probably just taking the win. Sem9 keeps 4 up. The last zone is up. Center is onto Naomi most likely.
But the two players for Sem9 down the hill. They went out to get the flush. They didn't even land those nades, and now they're going to have to move through the blue zone in order to get up the ramp. Dino has to get this heal off, but there's a player trying to rotate through the blue behind him. He goes down. There's just no way. Sem9 have thrown two of their players down there to go for a confirm, and they've wasted that opportunity. They could have all been on that top ground, all been on that high ground. If Major Pride can just survive for a little bit longer, they might even be able to throw a couple of nades over towards Rook. Actually, their supplies have run dry, so they're a little bit down on their luck. It's all up to the gunfights, and Punisher goes low.
Effect with that DPS goes prone, takes a massive amount of damage. He gets knocked. That was crucial. Naomi, last one up, will be taken out, and this is a Rook win because the last player is downhill, no, in the blue zone. Yeah, and it is done. Rook with blesses at that compound. They'll take the dub. That was you could say that was an easy one for them, but for all the teams getting into second, third, and fourth, that was a fight to be had. From all corners of the maps, everyone condensed in, and it was just an absolute.
Gonna be so tough for them. This is the next Ruya hold against the Gladiator.
Brass starting to move in. Not happening though. Now Major Pride down to 2 players. Ozarok Swain moves up.
Broken spirit, disparity, balance bursting at the seams. Disillusion, disturbing outside. Maybe it's time to die. Fire and water combine, make steam. Wind and earth can make the strongest quake. The best of us becomes a team. It'll only be too easy to say. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Nothing, no nothing. Nothing's getting in our way. No nothing, nothing. Nothing's getting in our way. In every attack, I'll have your back as we're charging like bats out of hell. And we'll hold our ground and we won't back down till we're ringing that victory bell. Together we're a force that can't be tamed, and nothing's getting in our way. Our hearts are screaming, beating for more, dreaming up what nightmares were before. A synchronizing, cohesive machine. Together, no surrender, no defeat. Fire and water combine, make steam. Wind and earth can make the strongest quake. The best of us becomes a team. It'll only be too easy to say. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Nothing, no nothing. Nothing's getting in our way. No nothing, nothing. Nothing's getting in our way. In every attack, I'll have your back as we're charging like bats out of hell. And we'll hold our ground and we won't back down till we're ringing that victory bell. Together we're a force
I made the top 3 just now. I got supplies. I need a side scope. I got supplies. Awesome. Awesome.